Dr. Bass, you think there is a connection between health and spirituality?
After I graduated from chiropractic college, I met one of the students. His father was the pastor of a church, and called Divine Church of Metaphysics. And it was they were natural-minded and having to do with metaphysics, principles of metaphysics. And he introduced me to his father, and I became a member of the church. And then I became ordained as a minister, and I member of the church. And then I knew that there was so much. Having attended many lectures of ministers, I said to myself, there is so much wisdom out there that nobody's helping them with. Everybody's talking about the Bible and talking about Jesus and all the saints. Why not give them something they can use every day? They have problems. Why not combine the best teachings of the Bible and the ancients, the wisdom of the ancients, the Ayurveda of the Hindus, and the Tao of the Chinese, and all these great wisdoms, and bring it in and show people how to use that and make their lives happier, more fulfilling. And isn't this what God wants? Why do people go to churches? They're looking for consolation, peace of mind, and all that. And the best way to peace of mind is you got to teach them how to live, how to attune their lives to nature. And if you start with the Bible and the ancient teachings, you got a long history there to draw from. So I decided to combine it. When the pastor of this church died, before he died, I asked him if I could take over the church, and I had an idea to remodel it and bring in this new information combined with the teachings of wisdom of religion, and teach these people, lay people, how to live healthfully, which the Bible wants. And we want to help these people not only spiritually, we want to help them how to live on this earth and be happy. How to live every day, and how to live emotionally, and how to live thinkingly, and how to function in a way that life can become happy and beautiful, and have healthy children. What more do you want? Who's doing it? How many people are doing this? How many churches are talking about? How many churches tell you how to live, how to think, how to feel, and how to sleep well, and how to feel good, and how to become your own doctor? Like Dr. Shelton said, one of the great nutritionists of the last 150 years, he has a sentence there that is worth repeating. And he'll repeat this again for the 1,000th time. A man is either a fool or his own physician at 40. And another thing he said that I always like to quote, Man can live under any conditions and try anything, and which he is doing today. He's tried everything short of hanging. So why do you want to live like that? In a way that brings you closer and faster to death. Learn how to live, become happy, so you enjoy life. What's the good of being born if your life is full of misery and you have to worry every second? You can go to 1,000 churches. If you don't learn how to live according to the dictates of nature, the way it was ordained by the Creator, if you don't deal with that, how can you use the higher principles if the lower principles are not functioning? If you don't have a healthy body, I don't care how much money you have, you're miserable. People work hard all their lives to accumulate money and wealth and dollars. Finally, when they're lucky enough to become millionaires, they take all the money and they give it to the doctors. And then they're broke. So they worked all hard for a goal which they had to give away because it wasn't the right goal. Getting the money was not the right goal because they didn't get the knowledge of how to live long enough to enjoy their money. What's the good of being a millionaire if you can't live long enough to enjoy the millions that you have? That you have to give it all to doctors. That happened to my father. My father was a director of the Meistersing. He was the leading violinist of the Metropolitan Opera House, and his whole life was music, the perfection of his work and entertaining people. Yet when he was 35, he developed meninges of the brain, inflammation of the meninges, and we were building a nice family. We were starting to build money, get prosperous, and we were going to buy a house and all that. And then my mother was terrified when he developed meninges. And so she called him the best specialist all over the world. And everything that we had saved went to the doctors, and he did not live long. And after that, my mother went into shock. It was a terrible thing. A whole family destroyed just because of ignorance of the basic elements of how to live. So you can take the greatest talents, the most wonderful people in the world, leave this world too early because they don't know how to live. And we lose them, and then we have to struggle, work hard because of ignorance. Now, isn't it time that we're so developed that we have wonderful iPads and iPods and all kinds of technical devices, and we have the internet now where the whole world is revolutionized, and we still don't know the basic elements that even animals know more about.
But doctors are always asking for money for the search for the cure for cancer and so forth. Sure,
that's because they're looking in the darkness. They're in the dark room. They let them come into the light room where they can get the answers. But they're not going to get money to find the answers according to nature, because who's going to make money on it? If you're a nature doctor, you'll never be a millionaire. That's a fact. Because the people recover too fast. I've heard a lot of doctors complain to me. They say, nature cure is wonderful, but they recover too fast. They can't make a living. So I said, well, at least you're making an honest living. You're not fooling people. You're not hustling them for unnecessary surgery or unnecessary drugs. So at least when you die, you go to a higher plane with a clear conscience, and besides, you sleep good every night. That's more than a lot of doctors do. So the only trouble is, if you want to help the world, be humanitarian, you got to get a profession that can make you dollars, and then do the real thing for nothing, or next to nothing. That's the only way to really function as a humanitarian. Or if you're very wealthy, you use your money to spread knowledge. But unfortunately, most of the rich people who are giving you the money are giving it to the medical doctors for research. And as long as they're giving these millions of dollars for research, it's never going to end. Because if it ends, their contributions stop. So how do you expect to get well that way? So the only way they're going to get well is in a way that doesn't require too much money. You have to turn to a medium where money is not involved. Knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of nature. How do animals? You got to start with animals. Why are animals healthy? Why don't they get the diseases we do? You got to find out the answers. Why is it you go to primitive races and you find they're not doing the things we do, and they're free, they have none of our diseases? So you got to start with that. And if they don't have the diseases, then let's learn from them. Well, why are we going to the peddlers, the pill pushers, and that don't know the answer, and they're taking all our money? So people don't think, they don't realize that what's the true healing art? What is the true healing art? If I were 25 years old again, and I knew what I know now, I would be willing to give odds that I'd reach 150, free of disease. 150 years. And even though we know nobody who's done it right now. Nature cures everything. I'm steering the people according to the dictates of nature, and then nature does the cure. See, the doctor makes the money, but nature is doing the curing. So who should be paid? See? All doctors are getting paid, but nobody's doing any curing. Who's curing? Where's the curing going on? Is the doctor curing you? Or is it spontaneous nature cure? Does nature cure every disease, even if you go to a medical doctor? If it were not for nature, would there be any medical doctors left to cure disease? If nature stopped curing, there'd be nobody left, including all the specialists. They'd probably be the first to go.
So young upcoming...
That's the thing. It could be a long meditation on this without even talking.
Young upcoming doctors, you would recommend what?
I recommend they go into an honest profession and find another profession to make a living. Because if you want to make a lot of money, it's not going to be an honest profession the way it works out. So just do nature cure and be a good person and help humanity. Well, you can make a living. You can make a good living. You can make a moderate living. You're not going to make an extravagant life. You're not going to make vacations, steady vacations, traveling around the world as a nature doctor, but you can travel around Brooklyn. Locals, which don't go, you can use the subway for a vacation. Go to Central Park, Bronx Park, Prospect Park. But you can still be happy. What's the big deal, you know? If I had $1 million right now, if somebody gave me a donation of $1 million for my group, the Life Science, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't know what to do to change, what changes to make. So there's no way I can even spend the money. Because if I spent the money, I'd probably be damaging myself with things I don't need. So is money the answer? No.
Your ideal is a future where everybody is their own doctor?
Well, isn't what nature does with animals? What doctors do animals have? What does an animal do if it's sick? It stops. I've had a lot of pets in my life. My mother used to have everything from pigeons to even white mice. And what does an animal do if it doesn't feel good? The first thing it does is stops eating. Instinctively it stops. So it's fasting. While it's fasting, the body is healing through nature. There's your doctor right there. So the animal doesn't eat for a few days, then it gets up. I remember one time I was driving in the country with a manager of a hotel. I had a fasting hotel. And we came to the road and we saw an animal lying there in the middle of the road, a dog. The head was moving. We said, gee, it's alive. We thought it was killed. So I said to the girl, I says, why don't we take this animal and bring it to our place and get it well? Because that's what I used to do all the time. Every time I see a dying animal, take it home, get it well, and then give it its freedom. And I learned a lot of that. I could tell you stories about when I was 16 years old, starting in this subject, what I used to do. Now, let me tell you a few stories. It's very interesting. I was 16 years old, and I was doing research in the Academy of Medicine, the New York Public Library. Oh, let's save this for the next lecture. How I started.